Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another week of live on the Doctor is In podcast. And so we're happy to have you on with us this morning. Rosa and John and Nativity and Jeanette, good morning to you. Ezrut, Pam, and our friend Keith. Good to have you on this morning. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of teaching this morning. And Claire, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. Jeanette, bonjour. Michael from Wawa, beautiful Wawa. Diane, good to have you on with us. And Jerry from Nouveau Brunswick. Okay, so good for you guys for coming on. Nicole, Jordan, and 24 others, and Jocelyn, and Nick, and Morris from North Bay, Jean, and good to have you on with us this morning. Andrea, of course, from Nouveau Brunswick, Andrea and Jerry. Shirley from Newfoundland. I was telling my dear friends yesterday, yesterday was the 5th anniversary of the seminar I did in Newfoundland, in St. John's. I fell in love with that place. What a great time we had with the Bennett boys, and they invited me to come. Dr. Troy and Jeremy, we loved them dearly. We become good friends, and if COVID ever ends, I sure plan on getting back to Newfoundland and doing some seminars there. Let's see if it ever ends. Okay, so let me give you a little preview what I'm planning for this week. Today we're going to do some teaching the difference between fructose and glucose, okay? I think you'll appreciate it. I think you'll see it's very practical. We're going to start this week and, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, planning on all things breast cancer. Why? Because it's breast cancer month. Wear pink. So we're going to talk about that. What's new in breast cancer? What are some of the things that ladies you can do to prevent breast cancer? And we'll talk about that. So I think you'll find that interesting. There's some real good stuff there. And then we're going to talk, and I hope to do that this week, the natural flu shot. COVID is here, but the flu is coming. This is it. And it's seasonal, right? So what do you do about that? And I'm just going to give you Dr. Martin's plan for how you do the natural flu shot, okay? So, hope you enjoy our little teaching here this morning. Okay, so let's start with this. What sugar is in your bloodstream? What sugar is it? It's glucose. Okay? Glucose is in your bloodstream. And your body metabolizes glucose. It uses it for energy. It stores it. Okay? And there's 3 places generally where glucose will be stored. The parking lot, Costco's, the liver, the muscle. The bigger your bins are, okay, the more storage room you have for glucose. The bigger your bins are, okay. Work out. That's why we talk about it all the time. There's nothing like that kind of training, because not only what it does for you ladies and gentlemen, like this is proven science. anything you do in exercise will be good, but there are some things more advantageous because of what it does for storage of glucose. And stores in your liver, stores in your muscles, and stores in fat cells. Okay? So your body has, not everybody, but almost everybody has an amazing capacity to make fat cells. And that's all right. You need to store it someplace, but you don't want too much. Okay? Now, so glucose is what's in your bloodstream. And you know me, I'm always talking about lower your blood sugar, keep your blood sugar levels low. Not extremely low, because you can get, your body works very hard to keep you in a very tight range of blood sugar. Not high and not low. You don't want it to go too low. That's hypoglycemia. Too high, hyperglycemia. Now, let's talk about another sugar. And I'm pointing to an apple here. Okay? Remember when the doctor said an apple a day keeps the doctor away? No longer. I want to explain that. But fructose, okay, fructose is different than glucose. Fructose in a fruit is different than what's in your bloodstream. Okay? So, and am I against fructose? No. When you eat fruit, you're going to get some fructose. You have this apple, never drink apple juice, ever, under any circumstances. Never drink orange juice. Never, under any circumstances. Don't give it to your kids. Don't give it to your grandchildren. Don't give them juice. Don't give them apple juice. Of course, don't give them soda, because we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to get there in a second. Now, this sugar here, okay, that's in an apple or any fruit, fructose. Couple of things you want to know. One, it's 1.5 times sweeter than sugar. So when you have maple syrup, okay, that's fructose. It's not glucose, it's fructose. When you have honey, it's fructose. Okay? Now, what's the difference? Well, there's a couple of things, and then I'm going to talk to you about a third thing. There's a third sugar that I want to talk to you about this morning. Okay, we talked about glucose. That's what's in your bloodstream. We talked about fructose. That's what's in nature, in fruit. Okay? It's 1.5 times sweeter than glucose. And it's metabolized differently. Okay? It's metabolized differently. I talked to you about glycogen. I talked to you about how glucose is stored. It's either used for energy or stored. And you don't want too much of it. But fructose, even though an apple a day keeps the doctor away, it's certainly a good sugar, except when we have too much of it. Plus, we live in a different age today. And I will bring this together, I promise you, so that you understand exactly what I'm going to say. And why do I, for example, on the reset, I don't let you have any of that. There's a reason I do it. And it's not because I'm trying to punish you. I'm not. Some people think I want to punish people. No, I want to fix. I'm into fixing your metabolism. So fructose, understand this, you'll understand it in the animal kingdom. Fructose, I saw a picture on the weekend. I guess there must have been, it looked like there was 500 apples there. And there must have been 20 bears. They love apples. They love blueberries. We're told in Northern Ontario not to feed the bears. But we have wild blueberries up here. And blueberry season just ended. And bears will consume, listen to what I'm going to say, 30,000, up to 30,000 blueberries a day. What's in blueberries? I mean, besides antioxidants and all these things. Why do bears want berries? For fat storage. You see, fructose gets stored rapidly as fat. Unlike your blood sugar. Not that it won't get stored as fat, it will. But not rapidly like fructose does. So if you're, number one, if you're trying to lose weight, ladies, don't live on fruit. We live in a different age. It's no longer an apple a day keeps the doctor away. A piece of steak a day will keep the doctor away. Because you have to understand how this gets metabolized. Even if it's natural, even if it's good, it gets metabolized very rapidly and stored as fat. And one of the byproducts of that storage is the elevation, okay, fructose. Fructose is stored as fat and makes, one of its byproducts is the elevation of uric acid. It's one of its byproducts. So again, I'm not telling you not to have fruit. Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie has some berries in it. But I will repeat this. I would not live on this. I would not live on bananas. I would not live on grapes. And for me personally, I just never have these things. Like, I love apples. I love grapes. I love bananas. Peanut butter and bananas. I love bananas. But because I got insulin written across my forehead and have I got to be disciplined. I can't preach it to you unless I'm disciplined about, I just don't have a lot of fruit. I have a tendency in my own body to make uric acid really rapidly. I have to be very careful. But so do you. So if you're trying to lose weight, ladies, and I pick on you only because I love you, honest. No, but, because it's harder for you to lose weight. You know anybody that's got high blood pressure? One of the worst culprits is fructose. Uric acid elevates blood pressure. Very dangerous. You think of uric acid as gout. Yes, it can cause gout too. And a lot of people don't have high levels of uric acid, but don't have gout. But they got high blood pressure. And they have high levels of inflammation. And they have, they have high levels of insulin resistance, high circulating insulin. So, blood sugar is glucose. Nature's sugar is fructose. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that we live in a different world. And I'm going to prove it to you by this third sugar. It's called high fructose corn syrup, masquerading in your foods. For my book, our book on the Reset Diet, coming to a theater near you, we talked about 92 different names that the food industry, you see, when the food industry, they wouldn't even have a label if it wasn't for pioneers like me that were on committees making the food industry make a label. Make a label. Tell us what's in your food. They don't want that. And they always hid behind, well, we don't want to tell you because we have trade secrets. We don't want anybody to know our trade secrets. But any sugar you see, just about, that's packaged, is high fructose corn syrup. It's not natural at all. It's made in the lab. And my friend, I want to say this to you. I don't know if there's anything more dangerous than that sugar. It is so addictive. It's aimed right at our kids and our grandchildren. People get hooked on it. It's worse than cocaine. It takes the same center in your brain, that feel-good center. It carves a path in there. And people get addicted. They don't get addicted to fruit, but they get addicted to high fructose corn syrup, which is, at the Martin Clinic, the antichrist of all sugars. And don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. If sugar has been added, I took this out this morning, okay? You can pick up this at Costco. Keto foods. But don't fool yourself. Because a lot of people eat keto. And keto's a big thing. Oh, I've been talking about it for 46 years. But now it's very popular. Friend, when you're doing the reset, it's not a keto diet. It really isn't. It's a different thing altogether. Now, you're going to burn some ketones, yes, but it's different. Because when you're keto, this is low carb. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad. Okay, but let me just read to you what the ingredients are here. Dark chocolate, that's all right. 85%. Cocoa butter, okay. Low fat cocoa powder, that's sugary. And cane sugar. Don't fool yourself with the cane sugar. That's not a good sugar. That's not a good sugar. That is high fructose corn syrup in disguise. The food industry can get away with it because they don't have to do true label when it came to sugars. They don't have to tell you it's high fructose corn syrup, made in a lab. And high fructose corn syrup is metabolized. We've talked about this. It's metabolized so much more not good English, more differently. It's different. Number one, your body doesn't know what it is. Your body can't recognize it. It doesn't recognize high fructose corn syrup, so it's 100% metabolized differently. And I'm going to give you a list of things it does that are not good for you. Number one, highly addictive. We talked about it. It is so addictive. I always said that the food industry hired the tobacco industry people, addiction experts, and what did they do? Oh, we got to get people addicted. And boy, did they ever do a good job. Worse than cigarettes is high fructose corn syrup. We used to, and I had this little expression, I hope you enjoyed it in the past. I said, it's like Monopoly. It's not metabolized in your gut. And that's true, but not 100%. We spent a podcast. You can go back and listen to it. We spent a podcast talking about new research on high fructose corn syrup and how it takes a beeline to the liver much faster than glucose. It's on steroids, how fast it gets over to your liver. We'll talk about that in a second. But it does one thing in your gut that you won't want. Well, it does two things in your gut. As it passes through there. Your body's not taking it as a fuel. It doesn't take it as fuel because it doesn't recognize it. But as it passes your gut, on its way to the liver rapidly, it plays with your little layer of cells called your endothelial layer that protects it, which is your gut-blood barrier. It damages that. We talked about that. And secondly, there is one thing in your body that loves high fructose corn syrup. You know what it is? Yeast. Candida albicans. It feeds it like nothing else. So you can see the issue. But as it goes in a rocket ship to your liver, it's almost immediately converted to triglycerides. The use of high fructose corn syrup is up 300% in the last 20 years. 300%. What do triglycerides do? What do triglycerides do? You guys know this. Triglycerides, 3 fats that come primarily from high fructose corn syrup. What does that do? It is very dangerous to your blood vessels. Very dangerous to the cardiovascular system. Very dangerous to your brain and stroke. High fructose corn syrup. And the reason I talk about even fruit is because they are metabolized slightly differently. But fructose when you're having too much of it. Remember, animals use natural fructose to fatten up. And we live in a different age. And that's why I'm sort of against almost all sugars. I hate to be negative. Now, your kids are better off eating an apple than they are a chocolate bar, because the chocolate bar's got high fructose corn syrup. And your kids are better off, for sure. You're going to give them a treat, it's better to give them a banana. There's no doubt about that. But I'm talking about you. Adults don't metabolize even good fruit very well anymore because we've been weaned on high fructose corn syrup. It's in everything. That's the sugar they add. Why? Number one, it's addictive. Two, it's very cheap. It's a sugar made in a lab. It increases your uric acid levels big time. What else does it do? It contains mercury. Oh, that can't be good for you. It contains mercury. Oh, Dr. Martin, I don't eat fish. It's got mercury on it. Yeah. You know what's got more mercury than your fish? High fructose corn syrup. Your little keto bar. Don't fool yourself. You see, the reset is meant to clear all of that out of your body. Clear it out. With high, dense nutrients that have no, and by the way, you get a double whammo when you have a piece of bread. Read the label. Read the label. Now, some breads are better than others, but the bread is going to be glucose in 5 seconds. Not fructose, but glucose, unless they put fructose in there, high fructose corn syrup. And I'm telling you, the vast majority of breads do that. Oh, Dr. Martin, it's organic sugar. I don't care. No. And when you're trying to put your pancreas and give it a rest and change your insulin resistance, carbs become sugars rapidly. Bread, pasta, rice, cereals, sugar, sweets, pastries, milk. Not cream, milk. Store-bought milk. And alcohol. And alcohol. So, remember that. Limit your fruit. You make the kids a Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. We're going to talk about it when we talk about breast cancer. And I'll tell you why when we get to breast cancer. For Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. We'll talk about that. You can have a few berries. I got no problem with that. Not on the reset. You can do the perfect smoothie, but without the berries, because there's a reason I do it. And I think you're following me here this morning. The average, we talked about this, the average adult in North America consumes 15 to 30 teaspoons of high fructose corn syrup a day. The average. You think your body was made for that stuff? It's not even a natural sugar. It's not even a natural sugar. And your insulin goes crazy with high fructose corn syrup. It is so sweet. Your body cannot have it in the bloodstream for a nanosecond. It gets it out of there. Your body's unbelievable, how good it is. Okay, so, and maybe we'll do another one on this, I don't know. It spikes your insulin. It is addictive. It is cheap. It contains mercury. We talked about it. It plays with your lining of your gut. It plays with the microbiome of your gut. It's amazing when you get people to clean up their diet. And I know, they want to look at this stuff as a weight loss program. Yes, that's one of the benefits. It's one of the benefits for sure, but metabolically, it will fix. If you lower your uric acid, you'll lower your inflammation. And inflammation is part of almost 60 diseases, in heart disease, and cancer, and diabetes, and autoimmune. You help fix the gut. You help to regenerate the microbiome. You get rid of mercury when you stop consuming high fructose corn syrup. You know those drink boxes that kids drink and they bring to school? It should be against the law. And we're going up against a huge industry. And I've said this and I'll say it again. We see it even in COVID. We're going up against City Hall. Huge. Two biggest industries in the world. Pharmaceutical and big food. I could go on, but maybe I'll do some of this tomorrow too. What else it does? So high fructose corn syrup. Any sugar that you see added, just about, is high fructose corn syrup because the food industry doesn't have to label it as such. You'll rarely see high fructose corn syrup. They used to do it because people bought the lie, right? High fructose. Oh, fructose. Corn. Oh, corn's good for me. Syrup. Okay. It's made from nature. It must be good. Nah. I remember Tony Jr. and we were involved in, we just did a little bit of work for a beverage company. We were on their advisory board, talking about, a Gatorade-like replacement. and their slogan was, and they got it from us, it's not just another pile of sugar. And it was kind of funny because the real advertising was, it's not high fructose corn syrup that is sweetening this drink. I mean, you're looking, this is 15, no, more than that, 15, at least 15 years ago. And I remember the high fructose corn syrup people, the council, they came after us. They wrote us a letter. Oh, high fructose corn syrup is good for you. It's nature. And we said, nah, it's not. You're lying. It's not true. That was at least 15 years ago. But they had a huge lobby, and they tried to do everything to discredit our work. Huge lobby. But you guys know. That's where information comes in. That's where education comes in. The intelligence of our audience amazes me. You know how I know that? I just go in our Martin Clinic private Facebook group and I watch how smart people are. They know more about nutrition than 99% of any doctor I've ever met is our folks on the Martin Clinic group. I'm telling you. So that's our teaching. This week, promise, breast cancer. This week, semi-promise. What if there's a big story that comes out? I got to talk about it. This week, the natural flu shot. What do you do? What do you do? Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Share this.